Okay, hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create cylinders and pyramids. The first step to creating these cylinders and pyramids, you do have to be using the 1-point perspective technique to create either rectangular prisms or cubes. From here, we're going to start carving into the objects, these forms, to then transform the cubes and rectangular prisms into pyramids and cylinders. So I went ahead and I drew a rectangular prism over here. It also looks like a flattened square. I have one here. I added two over here, one right here. Okay, so if you want, you can pause the video right now, take a look at where they're all laying, use the 1-point perspective technique to recreate each of these. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually start with the cylinders. Really easy. Let's go ahead and start on this side. So for cylinders, all you have to do is decide how you want the cylinder to be laying. So I'm actually going to draw a few examples over here. So if you want the cylinder to be laying upward or to the side, or if you would prefer to see the front face at the bottom, right, or on its opposite side. Okay, the biggest thing is that the face, this right here, the rounded face, depending on where you want it placed, that's what's going to change here. So if you want the cylinder to be facing upright this way, then we're going to be dealing with this top face right here. If you want it to the side, then we would be dealing with the side over here. If you want to see the bottom part, then the cube essentially, or the rectangular prism, has to be above the horizon line. But if you want to see the face over here to the right, then we would be using this face right here. So that's where it really matters. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do upright. And I'm going to start with this guy here. So we do use rulers in order to make circles. So I'm going to give you an example. And I think I might actually draw it over here. So I do want you guys to do this along with me. We're just going to create a square. Okay. Okay, from the square, we can create a circle. What we do is we're going to be connecting the corner to the corner over here with a dotted line. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Essentially, what this is showing us is the center of the circle. So I believe that would be the radius. Okay, once we have that middle part, super important, we then could add the vertical line and this horizontal line. Okay, these are super necessary too because they are also going to tell us how wide and how tall the circle is going to be. So up here, we're going to draw a curved line. We're also going to draw a curved line here, as well as here, and then one here. Okay. Now we have kind of like the bones to our circle. All we do is connect it. And if your circle's looking a little bit off, it could be because the square wasn't measured correctly. I didn't do any specific measurements, which is probably why the circle looks a little bit off. But had I done 1 inch by 1 inch, then it would have been an even square. And so then it would have looked a lot more like a perfect circle. But right here, we can get pretty close. So essentially, we're doing this step right over here. So I'm going to use the ruler. I'm going to line it up to the corners. And it's always really great to have a nice sharpened pencil for this. Now that we have kind of the center point, we're gonna go ahead and add this line down the middle. And now when we have this one, it's not going to be a vertical line. Instead, it's going to be a parallel line because it's receding into space. So we want to make sure that we're kind of having the correct perspective. And so now we know, I'm going to get a little bit even closer now. Now we know where that curve is going to be. We know that this curve is going to be right here, curve right here, and curve right here. Essentially what it's going to kind of look like is a very narrow circle, kind of like an ellipse. This is kind of what it's going to be looking like over here. So we're just going to connect. Okay. And now that we have the sides right here and right here, we're going to go ahead and use our ruler to straighten out those edges. And then we're going to use a curved line to close it up. Now down here, we're kind of guessing where the ellipse is going to be placed, but next week when we start drawing 3D transparent objects, we'll be able to tell exactly where it's supposed to be. For now, we're just going to be curving the line ourselves, and so we're going to do a little bit of that practice. And so that's how we do the cylinder. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing over here on this side. Now notice how this cube, this form, is cut off. If you look really close, you can actually see the erase marks from earlier, so I can actually see the edge right here. Hopefully you can see the same thing. I'm going to line up my ruler like this from corner to corner, but I'm actually not going to bring it all the way over here, okay, because I don't want to cut in front of this one. Then I'm going to bring this corner to this corner. Then I can see this. That right there. Okay. And so we're actually only going to see a little bit of the curvature. Again, the rest of it is over here. But because this is in the way, we cannot see that. So we're only dealing with the curve right here. All right. You're going to follow those same steps to do this one on your own. And you're going to add an additional one, and you can add it anywhere, preferably on this side, that way you get practice over here. We're going to go ahead and tackle the pyramids. So pyramids, right, they have a point. We actually use this same technique, but what we're not going to do is use this line or this line. We're actually only going to use the corner to corner method to find the point. So that's going to be the tall portion. So I'm going to show you right over here on this one. This corner to this corner. Let me see. Then this corner to this corner. Okay, they meet right here. That is the middle point. So that's where they meet. And so now I'm going to take this corner, and this corner. I'm going to have them connect to that point there. So there it is. There it is. And there it is. And so that is our pyramid. It's really flat because it's getting really close to the vanishing point, but had we made it a little bit larger in length, then it would look a little bit more like this. I'm going to show you guys over here just so that you can see it as well. Okay, so I found the center point. Boom, 1, 2, 3, all of them connecting up there. You're going to create another one over here wherever you'd like. See you guys in the next one.